So what I want to know is what was your break? What was, okay, I've had enough, done, and stuck with that? Because I know you've been in and out a few times. So what
Yeah.
was the actual just breaking point to where this, I'm over it, never going back, I'm going to get my life together?
You know what? I've never walked into a facility like, this is it, I'm done, I throw the towel in, I jack.
Right, right.
Correction. There are a few times I went in like that, right, in the beginning, but and those were my real sincere intentions. But as you were just alluding to, how powerful this disease called addiction or alcoholism is that we possess, right? It's the only disease that lies to us in our own voice and tells us that we don't have this disease, and it makes us believe the unbelievable. Right. It's not like we have this strange voice that appears in our head and we can be like, oh no, stranger danger. No, it's our fucking voice. So it seems believable. So what happened for me was, again, life lived forward, learn backwards. At the time that these events were taking place, I could not see how important or life-changing they were. Now, after having remained sober long enough, I can clearly see where my higher power was doing for me what I could not do for myself. But the number one thing that really gave birth to the rest of these divine inconveniences or conveniences, depending upon your perception, if you will, was that the heroin and the cocaine stopped working. That was the first thing that happened, right? Because I found myself as a 35-year-old homeless heroin addict who resided on the corner of Eastern Avenue and Patterson Park, letting men blow me for $40 to secure another bag of dope. My mother had bought me a plot. People had taken life insurance policies out on me. I had just woken up from being on life support. At this point in time, I had been in 12 inpatient treatment centers. I had lost count of outpatients and detoxes. Medevaced 4 different hospitals in 4 different states for 4 different overdoses. My mother had sold 3 homes to financially pay for me to go to 2 different treatment centers. Despite having done some things in life that people would equate to success or happiness, some might even dream of, right? Touring the world with Tony Hawk, designing my pro model at the age of 15. In those movies, Jackass, TV shows, Viva La Bam, a published author of an addiction memoir that was wildly successful. Despite all those successful accolades I just shared with you, I found myself as a homeless heroin addict who wanted to kill himself on a daily basis, but I didn't want to hurt myself in the process. I was horrible at suicide because I kept waking up, and I was at a position in life where I was so low the curve looked like a skyscraper. My worldly possessions, everything that I owned in this world, consisted of 8 scarves, 2 jackets, 3 socks, 1 stick of deodorant. It fit into this duffel bag that I carried around that doubled as my pillow, a needle, a spoon, and a restraining order that my mother just had served on her 35-year-old son to be vacated from her home because, like, I was going to kill her in the house, like, literally, the way I live. And prior to that point, it was okay, right? Because no matter how bad of a position and or situation I found myself in, I load up that tool, right? And every time without fail, I put that thing in me, and this delusional effect is now approved. This delusional effect is now, this delusional effect now appears, which will allow me to escape the reality that I, Brandon Novak, have created for myself. So standing on the corner, letting a man blow me for another bag, it not only comes like manageable, it becomes like, tolerable, dealable, not that bad. I put that thing in me, I escape my reality. All fair is in love and war, right? You know what I mean? Not personal, it's just business, and that's cool. And that showed up for me. Every time without fail, I cop that bag, I put that thing in me, I immediately escape my reality. Not that bad. Ignorance is bliss. But what do I do when I'm a 35-year-old homeless heroin addict who I literally every day, my last 3 months of my run, I would go out and buy $180 worth of heroin and cocaine. And I would load that tool up, so much so that if I put another drop of water in it, the plunger would come out. Like it was full to the brim. I'd put it in me, and that delusional effect was no longer being produced, meaning that I could no longer, despite how much dope and coke I shot, I could no longer escape the reality that I, Brandon Novak, had created for myself. So that moment of clarity that they talk about in sobriety was not only happening when I was sober, but when I'm shooting up full time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not work. What do I do?
Yeah.
Right. And so that kind of set off a chain of events that ended me here.